Hello friends, welcome to all. Myself Vishal Jogidas. Today we will discuss about ultrasonic flow meter. And in previous lecture we have discussed about turbine flow meter and electromagnetic flow meter. Now today our today's concept is modern concept. It is the ultrasonic flow meter. So we will use ultrasonic principle or ultrasonic effect for the measuring of flow. So let us start. Ultrasonic flow meters works in two different principles. One is Doppler effect ultrasonic flow meter and another one is transit time of a flight electronic ultrasonic flow meter. So in this case, in second case, the parameter is transit time or time of flight ultrasonic flow meter. So these two principles are used for the ultrasonic flow meters. This is the Doppler effect ultrasonic flow meter. So it is a commercially available form or design of this Doppler effect ultrasonic flow meter. Now this is the Doppler frequency shift flow meter. It is also known as Doppler ultrasonic meter. So we can see different parts. Here we can see transmitter, here is receiver. Okay, so transmit and receive, and in between these two there is a zone of reflection. Here we can see the zone of reflection in stable velocity region. It means here the velocity will be stable. So this is known as zone of reflection, and this one is known as transmitted beam. Okay, this thing is known as transmitted beam, and here is the flow direction. These arrows are indicate flow direction. So this is known as flow profile, and Vf is the velocity of flow. So this is the complete setup of Doppler frequency shift flow meter. Now let us see how it works. First we will see principle of operation. Ultrasonic signals are passed through the fluid. Okay, the particles suspended in the fluid shows a frequency shift. Whenever ultrasonic signals are passed through the fluid, what will happen? The particles suspended in the fluid shows a frequency shift, and it is proportional to velocity of the fluid. So this frequency shift is directly proportional to velocity of the fluid. Okay, so this is the principle we are going to use in Doppler frequency shift flow meter. Working principle: it is used for reflected electronic sound to measure the fluid velocity. So in figure we have seen that there is a reflection. So it is used for reflected electronic sound to measure the fluid velocity. Measuring frequency shift between frequency source, receiver, fluid carrier, relative motion is measured. It means frequency shift will be measured, and the resulting frequency shift is called Doppler effect. So due to this there is a shift in frequency, and this resulting frequency shift is called Doppler effect. This is also one type of circuit diagram of this Doppler frequency meter. So here we can say that a trans receiver is there. So working of this trans receiver is transmit and receive both. Okay, so due to this, whenever the ultrasonic rays are flowing from transmitter to receiver, at that time there is a shift in the frequency, and this frequency shift is directly proportional to the velocity of flow. Now expression, which mathematical expression is used in this case? So fluid velocity expressed as v is equal to c into fr minus ft divided by 2 into ft into cos phi. This is the fluid velocity. Now we will see different parameters, where fr is equal to received frequency or receiver frequency, ft it means transmission frequency or transmit frequency, capital V is the fluid flow velocity. Okay, fluid velocity is given by V. And what is phi? Phi is equal to relative angle between the transmit ultrasonic beam and the fluid flow. So phi is equal to relative angle between the transmit ultrasonic beam and the fluid flow. So it is nothing but angle. C is the velocity of sound in the fluid. So in equation we have seen C. So C stands for velocity of sound in fluid. Okay, and this method requires there is some reflecting particles in the fluid. Okay, so in the fluid there is some reflecting particles. Now advantages: obstructs less flow. So it is a advantage because in some metals there is a obstruction element is there, and more flow is obstructed. Another advantage is it can be installed outside the pipes. Okay, most of the flow meters we are mounting inside the pipe, so it is complicated to mount this or to observe the operation of meters, but this meter can be installed outside the pipes, so this is advantage. The pressure drop is equal to the equivalent length of a straight pipe. Okay, then low flow cutoff. Flow cutoff is low, so it is also we can consider as an advantage. Then relative low power consumption. Power consumption is relatively low, so this is also the advantage. Now limitation: Doppler flow meters performance highly dependent on physical properties of a fluid such as sonic conductivity, particle density and flow profile. So this can be considered as limitation or disadvantage. Okay, its performance is highly dependent on physical properties of the fluid. So what are the physical properties? It is sonic conductivity, particle density and flow profile. So these are the limitations of this type of meter. Now second type we are going to discuss is transit time ultrasonic flow meter. Okay, and what is the principle of this transit time ultrasonic flow meter? The time for the sound to travel between the transmitter and a receiver is measured. See, as its name is suggest that we are going to use time. So which time we will use. So the time for sound to travel between the transmitter and receiver is measured, and this time is known as transit time. This method is not dependable on the particles in the fluid. So this method is not dependable on the particles in the fluid. In previous method, Doppler frequency shift flow meter, we have seen that it is highly dependent on particle in the fluid, but this method is not dependable on the particles in the fluid. So this is the set commercially available transit time ultrasonic flow meter, right? Here is the setup or diagram of transit time ultrasonic flow meter. Here flow is fluid is flowing from this side, and here we can see transmitter A and transmitter B, and here is receiver B and receiver B. So here it will be receiver A, not B. So we can see this is the figure where we will transmit the ultrasound, and here we can see angle theta. Okay, so now we will discuss about how it works. So first we will see principle. An ultrasonic flow meter is mounted at an angle of parallel to the pipe wall. It means the mounting of this meter will be at an angle or parallel to the pipe wall. We will mount in the parallel with pipe wall. Then second one is short duration ultrasonic waves are transmitted across the fluid. So short duration ultrasonic waves will be transmitted from the fluid, and ultrasonic wave will be transmitted from transmitter, and it is received by the receiver. The velocity of the ultrasonic waves is increased or decreased by the fluid velocity depending upon the direction of fluid flow. So we can increase the velocity of ultrasonic waves or decrease the velocity of ultrasonic waves by the fluid velocity depending upon the direction of fluid flow. Okay, so there is a relation in between these two. Now construction. The figure shows the schematic arrangement of ultrasonic flow meter of transit time type. Okay, so the figure shows the schematic arrangement that we have already seen. Two transmitters of piezoelectric devices A and B are at the downside of the flow tube with an angle. So here we can see these two are the piezoelectric type transmitters, and it is bottom side of the pipe, and you can see here is the angle, so it is placed at some angle. The piezoelectric receivers A and B are connected to the pipe at top side with an angle. So here we can see these two receivers. This is receiver A and this is receiver B, and these two are mounted at the top of the pipe at some angle. Here we can see this is the angle. Okay, so this is the arrangement or construction of. Now we will discuss about the fluid operation. Okay, the fluid in the pipe flows at velocity v. Okay, fluid will be flows from the pipe with velocity v. Okay, the transmitter transmit short duration ultrasonic signals through the fluid at a velocity L. Okay, so fluid velocity will be V and ultrasonic signals velocity will be L. So short duration ultrasonic signals will be transmitted from the transmitter A and B through the fluid and its velocity will be L. The signal received by the receiver A is increased to C plus V cos theta because it is in the direction of fluid flow. Okay, so signal received by receiver A will be increased by C plus V cos theta. Okay, and the reception frequency of the receiver pulse FA will be FA is equal to C plus V cos theta upon L. So FA is equal to C plus V cos theta upon L will be the reception frequency of the receiver pulse. Where theta is equal to angle between the path of sound and pipe wall. Okay, where theta is the angle between the path of sound and pipe wall. And small l is equal to distance between the transmitter and receiver. Okay, the velocity of the ultrasonic signal transmitted by A is received by the receiver B will reduced by the fluid velocity. So ultrasonic signal transmitted will be reduced by the fluid velocity. It creates a relation of C plus V cos theta. Okay, and this reduction will create a retardation of C plus V cos theta. Now, if the reception frequency is given by FB is equal to C minus V cos theta upon L. See, we have seen that frequency FA we have defined is equal to C plus V cos theta. But in reception frequency, it is given by FB is equal to C minus V cos theta upon L. Okay. So the difference in frequencies is given by delta F is equal to FA minus FB is equal to 2V cos theta upon L. Because this 2 will be added. V cos theta will be added. So it is 2V cos theta upon L. And time duration is equal to delta T is equal to L upon 2V cos theta. Okay, we know that time duration is equal to 1 upon frequency. So from this we can say that delta T is equal to L upon 2V cos theta. We know that delta T is equal to 1 upon delta F, or simply we can say T is equal to 1 upon F. So this is the reason behind this. Now, by measuring the difference in repetition frequency delta F and by knowing the value of theta and L, the velocity of fluid can be measured. Okay, how can we measure velocity of fluid? So we must know the value of theta and L and the repetition frequency delta F, difference in repetition frequency delta F. If these three parameters are known, then we can find the velocity of fluid. Or the flow velocity can be computed by measuring the time difference between the two pulses in either directions. Okay, if we measure the time difference between these two pulses in either direction, then also we can compute the flow velocity. So this is the other method of measuring flow velocity. Now, advantages of transit time flow meter. So it is a bidirectional measuring capability. Here you can see it is a bidirectional. It means from left to right or right to left we can flow and we can measure. Good accuracy will be good, response is fast. Okay, then wide frequency range, it is also the advantage, and then used for any size of pipes. Okay, there is no limitation of pipe sizes. Okay, we can use any size of pipes because we are mounting outside the pipe, so there is no issue of size. Measurement is independent of the velocity of sound c. The measurement is not dependent on the velocity of the sound c. And what are the disadvantages? So disadvantage is, major disadvantage is its cost is very high, and its setup is also complex. So it is somewhat complex and costly. So these are the disadvantages of this type of flow meters. Now in advantages we can add some more advantages also. In this case also there is no obstruction to the flow, so this is also one advantage. Then they have negligible pressure loss of fluid because of little resistance to the fluid flow. So this is also considered as a advantage because there is a pressure loss is low, so efficiency will be high. And one more thing is they have linear calibration curve. So it is okay, linear calibration curve. So this is also the advantage. And they have provision to clamp on the pipe without process interruption. It means if we have to clamp on pipe, then there is no interruption in the process. For ongoing process we can clamp this type of meter. So this is also advantage. And we are mounting outside the pipe, so this is the advantage. And they are very small in size, about 6 to 10 mm in size. So it is a advantage. We can mount on small pipes also. And they are insensitive to variations in viscosity, density and temperature. So just like other flow meters which are highly dependent on viscosity, density and temperature, but this flow meter is not or not sensitive to viscosity, density and temperature. So these are the advantages of ultrasonic flow meter. And now applications. It is used mostly for liquids without any pressure. So it is used for liquids without any pressure. And this is the typical application. Now limitations. It requires reliability, high frequency sound transmitted across the pipe. So because we are transmit a high frequency sound across the pipe, it should be reliable. Then liquid slurries with excess solids or entrained gases may block the ultrasonic pulses. Okay. In some cases, for slurry liquids and if some solid particles are there in the liquid, then it may block the ultrasonic pulses. So it may create an error in the measurement. These are not recommended for primary sludge, mixed liquor, septic sludge and activated carbon sludge. So this is not recommended for this type of sludge liquids. And liquids with entrained gases cannot measured reliably. Okay. If in some liquids there are gas particles in that, so for that purpose we cannot use reliably. Thank you.